Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. How much silver do you have to buy to be considered a silver stacker? Let's explore. You know, over the last couple of months, there's been a lot of new folks that have gotten into precious metals, and specifically silver, from all walks of life, from all different income streams, and levels of income as well. There's been a lot of people that have been posting pictures, photos, over on the Wall Street Silver Forum of the silver that they have accumulated, and it is quite impressive to see the literally thousands of ounces of silver that have been bought by one or two individuals. But there's others that have posted quite a bit less. And as you know, in that community, we have seen different terms arise: silver apes, silverbacks, silver stackers, and those who accumulate silver. There's probably a half a dozen other names that you can have for us. Silver bugs is another one. But the silver stacker is sort of the foundation. Most everyone agrees that we all are stacking silver at some point or another. Now, recently, and when I say recent, I'm saying within the last few years, because I've been accumulating silver for quite a while, I have focused more on gold in the past few years. But does that mean that I've stopped stacking silver? No. I actually have continued to accumulate. But how much silver do you have to buy to be considered this silver stacker, to have that applied to you? Well, I don't think there's really any hard and fast rule that says you have to buy a certain amount of silver to be considered a silver stacker. How do you measure such a thing? Is it by the number of ounces? Is it by the percentage of your income? How does it compare to gold? If I've been focusing more of my time buying gold, does that negate me from being a silver stacker, or of my opinion of stacking silver? I would say no. Because of the experience, and because of even the changing market and the evolution of premiums that we've seen in recent months and maybe even the past year, I would say, in a sense, it's made us all become a bit more savvy, looking for deals. Some of the silver that you see before you here, I've accumulated from a friend's collection that had it from a grandfather that had accumulated this. And I've been buying it just a little bit above spot. Now, I told this person that I could very easily have bought it from them for under spot, because my local coin shop is paying under spot for these, but I'll be willing to pay over spot, just slightly over, for these pieces of silver. Now, in this day and age, for the constitutional silver that you see here, much of this can be purchased for not a whole lot over spot these days. There's somewhat of a premium, but to buy it back, the local coin shop will pay you just under spot for it. Just depends on the local coin shop. In this day and age, there's a time when there was a run on constitutional silver, and they would have paid you a little bit over spot. But these days, it's a bit under spot. But recently made a purchase of some of the silver, giving the individual a better price than what they would have gotten if they took that silver to the local coin shop, local to my area here. And I think that's a good way to deal with folks. That way you know that they are getting a fairly decent deal if they're not familiar with the silver market out there. So there's ways to be able to accumulate silver at a fairly decent price, but maybe not so much for some of the other types of silver, such as the silver eagles. They're paying a very high premium for eagles. There's a lot of demand for them right now, and they are the most liquid, recognized silver bullion coin in the world at the moment. But there are deals to be had, and there's ways to stack whether you pay a premium or not. And I think it's about finding a pure stacker. It's about finding the most recognized silver for the lowest premium possible. That is paramount, I believe, and that's something that is evolving and changing. Right now, Eagles don't appear to be the most recognizable bullion for the least amount of premium out there. There are deals you can find, but it's a very difficult at times to accumulate silver Eagles with a low premium that you used to be able to get. But silver, and the question about how much do you need to buy to be considered a silver stacker, well, if you are a brand new to it and you don't have any silver in your possession, I'm going to give you the answer by showing you exactly how much you need to accumulate to be considered a silver stacker. 2. That's right. 2 coins, and it could be dimes. And that is less than a quarter ounce of silver right there. And you stack one on top of the other, you have essentially just stacked silver. That's right. You just need to buy 2 silver dimes. And then you have become a certified, bona fide silver stacker. That's how much. Less than a quarter ounce. In fact, less than a 20th of an about a 20th of an ounce there. A little less than a 20th of an ounce of silver. And you have become a silver stacker. Now, ideally, it would be nice to get a little bit more than that. But you know what? Everybody has different levels of income. And it's easy to get started into silver. And the best way is to understand your income level and use discretionary cash that you have left over after you take care of all of your financial obligations. And that's what it's about. Why? Because silver is essentially a savings account. It's a way to protect yourself against economic instability. And understanding the fluctuations of the silver spot price, you may want to just be careful about entering into the silver market. And it's very easy. All it takes is 2 little silver dimes. That is all you need to be considered a silver stacker. By the pure definition of the word, it's about stacking one on top of the other. And in this case, the smallest denomination you can get for the lowest premium is going to be silver dimes. Now, the little nuance to that is that one of these dimes is what's known as a mercury dime, or a winged liberty is the correct terminology for this coin. And the other one is a Roosevelt dime. You will tend to find higher quality silver, in other words, less wear on the Roosevelt dimes dated 1964 or earlier. But once in a while you will find somewhat worn mercury dimes or winged liberty dimes for about the same price per dollar. And that gives you a way to be able to accumulate recognizable constitutional silver coins that once circulated before silver was removed from those pieces in 1965. And indeed, in fact, 1964 is sort of a magical year because it is the year that you can find silver, especially silver half dollars, in very good condition. In fact, almost uncirculated condition for the same price as a worn piece. They made a lot of these 1964 Kennedy halves, mainly because it was to celebrate the life of a president who was assassinated literally months before, in November of 1963. So they minted a lot of these in 1964 and I believe into 1965. So the half dollar is probably the most easiest way to accumulate high quality constitutional silver at a fairly cheap price. And that's what it's about, getting it cheap above spot price. And so there you have it. That is the answer to your question, is how much silver do you have to buy in order to be considered that silver stacker. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you have a different standard about what you think is a silver stacker. And what about those of us who literally are buying just little bits from time to time, who may have stacked a great amount before? Would you consider us not stackers anymore because we're not buying as much as we used to? Even if we just buy a quarter, a dime, or a silver eagle every once in a while? There are hardcore stackers out there for sure. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with people buying a great amount in a very small window of time. But when you do that, you do run the risk of potentially being hurt more if the price drops down dramatically. But you also can have the reward if the price goes up dramatically of being able to make a well-timed purchase. And so there are some risk rewards buying on that level. I do kind of like the idea of maybe spacing out your purchases and doing what I refer to as smart dollar cost averaging. And I'll post a link to that video in the end screen of this video that talks about smart dollar cost averaging. But in my mind, just 2 coins over the course of any amount of time provides you the designation as a silver stacker. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.